people can probably read that fast. Okay, so they're like 3 pages. Okay, what else are we gonna do? Alright, publisher ready. You also do literary magazines. Connect your poems, stories, essays, and reviews to the right audiences by researching over 1,200 literary magazines in our database. 1,200! Now we know how many there are. Thanks. So hard on everybody's. Here you'll find editorial policies. I'm so grateful. Like, this is a gold mine. I'm like so excited. I feel like I heard about this at Bard during like the entry programs of freshman year. They were like, hey, now that you've written all this stuff, why don't you try to get it published in Poets and Writers? I was like, good. At least I wasn't hyper vigilant though. Here you'll find editorial policies, submission guidelines, and contact information, everything you need to direct your work to the publications most amenable to your vision. So let's look at the first one. 2 reviews in alphabetical orders. This is unfair. We should look at the last one, really. Okay, charges reading fee. No, that's what I'd like to see. Reporting time less than 3 months. Reading period the whole year. They accept electronic submissions. Oh, they don't accept simultaneous submissions. You can only submit it to them. You can be unsolicited. That means you don't have an agent, I guess, or like they haven't contacted you. Number of debut authors per issue 10. So it seems pretty competitive. Issues per year 4. Issue price free. Oh, I should totally get a copy of this. Subscription price free. We prefer poems. I have some poetry. We prefer poems with these qualities: imagery, subtlety, and point of view, a surface of worldly exactitude, as well as depth of semantic ambiguity. Nice. And a voice that negotiates with its body of predecessors. Before submitting, please read the submission guidelines. We'd like to think we have writers who have read several past issues of To Review, and that they are familiar with history of poetry and poetic theory. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, I'll show you one last thing. So we did writing contests, literary magazines, small presses. This is what I've been looking at. What is this? I like it with the longing music. Okay, anyhow. Okay. So these are whether you're pursuing the publication of your first book or your 5th only. They have a sense of humor. Use, just like Horticulture World, use our small presses database to research publisher interest, contact information, and submission guidelines. So we're going to look at the first one, 2 Leaf Press. So they publish poetry, fiction, creative nonfiction. And it seems like we're here. So I'm just going to cut to the chase here. A lot of them were like, oh, okay. A lot of them were looking for like really edgy stuff. Like, I didn't know that. I was like, I would never get a publisher for any of my books. Like, who would ever publish anything? And it's like, actually, like half of them, like, want like, let's see about this one. Who inject new blood into the contemporary literature scene, right? Like, they all want, all these small presses really want something. And then the last thing is literary agents, which is like, I don't know what this, I guess like someone, I mean, like, I'm not, like, I know like it's someone who's gonna represent you, but like I don't know, like, I mean, do you pay them? Do they pay you? Like, I'm not gonna pay for like an agent, so there we go. We'll capture the longing. Oh, I did want to talk about what I was gonna read. Can I just read that cover letter really quick? Here. It's like 1 page. So I wrote to Beacon Publishing Group. Dear Beacon Publishing, well, can they sit and stare here? Do they seem okay? Oh, yeah, they seem okay. Let's pick this up. Okay, 70. Okay, we'll inspect them all. real quick. Dear Beacon Publishing Group, HR. Right, HR. Thank you in advance for your fee-less time in reading my work. Like, no fee. Fee-less time in reading my work. This work and 7 other books of mine have been published to Amazon. I have been published 41 times to Thought Catalog. They wanted to know that. Please see my resume, link, for the details. My work ranges from serious to comedic, children's to adults, low-key to effervescent, non-fiction to fiction. Lately, I have been submitting to The New Yorker, The New York Times, Vogue, and more. Horticulture Magazine has written back. I have also reached out to Urban with some of my books, and to Thought Catalog. Just, If you like this submission, Real Princesses, please do feel free to check out my other books. You can read all 8 in an hour. You seem like speedy readers, so maybe you could read them faster than me. I also like savoring the pride. This submission I picked out for you for being the most semi-normal of my books. It is an unlucky 13 pages long with an activity section at the end for adults and for children. My friend told me that this is the only published book thus far in which a character admits that they have farted. I gave them links to the book on Amazon and the website. This book is a reaction to a culture in which women are raised to behave like princesses who would have had their heads chopped off if this were a real monarchy. This book aims to change that culture. Princesses were historically politicians who ruled with compassion. The protagonist of this book does just that. They wanted a synopsis. The book is about 87 words. Thank you again for all of your time. I know you must be workaholics like me, so you would love to read a longer cover letter, but I feel the catharsis of a statement fleshed out 100%. Thanks again. All my best, Rachel Freeman. Oh, they sat down! I dreamt about a place beyond this cave. Aww. We'll get that on the way back. A clump of moss. It is already regrowing. Oh my gosh, that's so dumb. That was so cute. A clump of moss. One can never have enough. 72 pieces of moss. We are workaholics. Oh my god, I just scratched my back for a second, or like felt like I needed to scratch my back. I was watching Strangers with Candy last night, and Jerry Blank had like a lobster pet. Clump of moss. Collecting moss is a fun activity I can recommend. And she took the lobster out of her locker, and she was like, ugh, and scratching her back. It had like little rubber bands on the claws, but instead of using rubber bands, she used like scrunchies. It's so fun. Clump of moss. I better take it with me. I mean, like, we keep being like rewarded with funnier stuff, so like original stuff. So I think they want us to continue picking up moss. I'm just gonna keep collecting moss here. But yeah, there is like a princess culture, and yeah, like, do people understand what I was like? They rule with compassion. Like, I've always wanted to make this game called like Sim Princess or like Sim Royalty, like SimCity 2000 or like The Sims, where like okay, princesses historically were actually my friend was telling me that they're reverse empaths. Like, people can feel their feelings really strongly. So the goal was to have them feel the best feelings as possible, so everybody could like empathize with their feelings from a distance. So that's why there's a castle. because you could make like 50 houses or like 49 huts in a castle, and they would prefer to make 49 huts and a castle with like all their resources to oh, that one's in Freaker. People would prefer to make 49 huts. Ooh, it's making me happy already. That's good. People would prefer to make like a smaller house. Like everybody has a smaller house. We make one big house for the princess, so that she feels really good, and then everybody else feels good because they're feeling the princess's feelings. The only problem is that if the princess was like a really nice person, she wouldn't want to have anything better than anybody else, and then she would feel really bad and guilty that there was a castle. So that's what makes it like a challenging video game, I think. But then, like if she had the same life as everybody else, you know, that could create unique challenges too. You could like tell her that she's a princess, you know, right? Like if she has the same bed as everybody else, she might think like, wow, I could get so much better sleep, you know, and so she might feel just as bad being like, oh, I could get so much better sleep if we devoted more resources to my bed. And then I feel guilty that like I can't feel good enough for everybody else to feel good, you know, like it might be like this, she might feel the same way either way, kind of. You can tell her that she's a princess. You could isolate her like Princess Jasmine in Aladdin, but then she would want to leave the palace. Ooh. Or you can not tell her like Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and then she catches everybody staring at her in town. You know, there are like all these different things you could do. You could have like a Truman Show, but then like somebody might tell her what's going on. You know, like where everybody is like doing things for her, and then you have to make sure that people aren't misinformed about what she would want. You know, like it could get pretty messy. Okay. And then some religious people believe that there is a potential for an apocalypse. Or that there is a devil. So you could like put that in there. You would have to like talk to religious people about that probably. But people think like mistreatment of the princess could lead to that, or like not unexonerating the devil could do that. Okay, so I'm gonna read something else now. I feel like we flushed out that topic. So this is, it's like COVID related again, like the nail polish article, and it's called "You Don't Actually Need a Haircut." Okay, thank you for time and consideration. Here's the article. "You Don't Actually Need a Haircut" by Rachel Freeman. It's also about 500 words. I think that's what the Atlantic kind of wants. Because I like copy and pasted one, it was like 501 words, and I was like, oh, that's easy. When the salons closed during COVID, we were left to fend for ourselves hair-wise. Americans brought back the bowl cut, watched YouTube tutorials, and we learned how to do that hair twist in front that turns into bangs when you cut it. But not me. I haven't gotten a haircut since December 31st, 2016. I was in the midst of growing out my hair again, growing my hair out again, and I decided to get the most basic trim of all time before New Year's. It was snowing lightly. "Please just trim off the ends," I said to the hairdresser, who did not know me. My favorite hairdresser had moved to Texas about a year or two beforehand, and now I was rotating through the county without attachment. "Please just make it all one length."